I'm sure at some point you have heard the phrase fallen off the wagon. Back in the day, and maybe still, I don't know. I think most of us would have equated that with an alcoholic who had been sober for some length of time and had taken another drink. I'm here to tell you that as a non-drinker, I have, quote, fallen off the wagon more times than I would like to count in various areas of my life. I've made decisions, I've made promises to myself, I've made promises to others, and I just have failed, fallen off the wagon. I'm actually kind of in one of those places in my life right now. So, what do you do when that happens? What do you do when you get off track? And how the heck do you get back on? That, my friends, is what we are discussing this week on Her Faith at Work. Stay tuned.
Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no-nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So, let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, how intimately faith applies to every part of your life, and how you can live that faith walk every single day in the marketplace. I've felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of a few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share her faith at work.
I think for the most part, I handle stress fairly well. People who know me and are around me in stressful situations have commented more than once, I have no idea how you can stay so calm in this situation. Well, it's because I internalize it. It's not healthy, friends. I know it's not healthy. It's something I'm working on. Okay. Okay. But when I fall off the wagon, I tend to get lax in areas that are important to me. And I know that I need to get back on track, but procrastination sets in because, hey, yeah, I ate a donut or three. Why not just start back on Monday? Or it just seems overwhelming. So you tend to just throw good habits on the side of the road. Just throw habits to the wind for a minute and just indulge yourself. Not healthy, friends, not healthy. Does everybody fall off the wagon every once in a while? Yeah, probably in multiple areas. I think I probably do that every single day. However, there are things that you can do to get back on track quicker and easier than you think. Some of my favorite verses in the Bible regarding these things, Romans 12:2, where it talks about the renewing of your mind. You can renew your mind, folks. It's a mind shift. Ask God. He can help you. He will help you. He's faithful to do that. In 2 Corinthians 10:5, it talks about taking every thought captive. We have the ability. We have the ability to take our thoughts captive when they run wild, when they say, have that second donut, when they say, why not just wait till Monday? Why not just wait till the beginning of next month? What, fill in the blank, whatever your excuse is. I'm just telling you some of mine. And so we just need to stop the blame game, even when we're blaming ourselves. I mean, it's really easy to blame outside sources, but when you got to turn the finger and point it at yourself, just stop it, okay? Stop the blame game. God already sees all the things. He already knows all the excuses. He knows the hidden truth. So just be honest with him and with yourself. Take responsibility and then take action. Right. So this is kind of a compilation of things that I've learned over the years from various sources. And don't worry, at the end, I'm going to give you some tools and some resources where I've learned some of this stuff and things that I've found helpful to get me back on track over the years. But I'm just going to call it the SPAM method, SPAM. Yes, spam. But this is the good kind of spam, like comes from Hawaii, if you're into that kind of thing, not the bad kind of spam. So spam, SPAM. Stop, pray, ask God, and move. All right, let's talk about each one of these things. Stop. You have to slow down long enough to take an assessment of the situation, people. If you were anything like me, you're running a mile a minute and you Don't give yourself enough time to actually stop and say, A, what's the problem? And B, what's the cause? What is causing me to eat donuts? What is causing me to not have time to read my Bible? What is causing me to not fill in your blank? Okay. Stop and assess. All right. And then P, pray. You can try to do it yourself. You can try to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can try to pull yourself together. But I'm here to tell you, friends, and I have a lot of experience in this area. It's only going to last so long if you're trying to do it on your own. Ask God for help. Ask Him to help you identify the areas that you need to work on. Sometimes we're blind to our own junk, but God isn't. And He is faithful, as a loving, kind Father will do, to just gently turn us in the direction that we need to go. And He will help us have the strength to get where we need to go. Now, I don't know if you're anything like me. Hello, overachievers, raise your hand. But I tend to take on too much and I want to fix all the things. Once I see the things, I have to fix the things. I'm an action taker, is what I do. But I have a tendency to take on too much at the same time, which is not good. It's not sustainable. And so I like to say that I have five main pillars in my life, five areas in my life that I really need to, should be always focused on. And so if you can identify your five pillars, and the Lord will help you do that, ask Him, what are your five pillars? They might be the same as mine, they might be slightly different, but I think these are fairly general. So mine are faith, health, business, finances, and relationships. Some of these are worse than others, and frankly, I think they cycle. Sometimes I'm doing really well in 3 out of the 5. Sometimes I'm doing really well in 4 out of 5. Sometimes I'm only doing well in 1 out of 5, if I'm trying to be honest with you today. But those are my top 5. Identify your own. And once you've identified them, now what? I'm going to tell you to do something that's going to be hard for some of you. Pick one thing in each area. I know. If we sat down and gave ourselves enough time, we could have a laundry list in every single one of these areas that we need to work on. That will come later. But right now, we're taking baby steps. So we're just going to pick one thing in each area, and I want you to write it down. Now, if you are driving, obviously you can't write it down. So just pause the podcast. Please come back. Pause the podcast and ask Siri to take a note, dictate it to her, and that way you're not going to forget when you have time and availability to come back to it. So you're going to pick one area to start with this week. After you've got your 5 pillars and you have the 5 things in each one thing in each of the 5 columns, you're going to pick one of those, and that's where you're going to start this week. Y'all, I'm telling you that I know adding too much is a recipe for failure. You are not setting yourself up to win. Don't do that. Don't do that. Set yourself up to win. Choose one. And if you are in this with the Holy Spirit, He's going to illuminate with a bright flashlight where you need to start. So you're just going to do that one thing repeatedly, whether it's daily, weekly, etc., whatever the cadence is that you need to do the thing. For Bible reading, hopefully it's every day. For fitness, maybe it's every other day. Whatever your cadence is for these things, you know what I'm saying, people. Pick the cadence that makes the most sense, that is the healthiest, and pick the one that you're going to start working on, because that's what's sustainable. Building small habits over time that stack on each other. If you did not hear my podcast episode on resolutions versus habits and talks all about habit stacking, you can go back and see that. I think it was episode 2 or 3. So not too far back. Stack them on top of each other, but start small. For at least a week before you add anything else, you're going to nail this one. So if it's reading your Bible every day, set a freaking alarm. Remind yourself. Don't let yourself forget. Don't leave room for yourself to forget these things. Make it a priority. Write it on your bathroom mirror. Put it as your phone lock screen. Put it on your computer. Give yourself some sticky notes. Anything that you can do to help prompt you, right? I would say if it is a food goal, write a note on the refrigerator or your pantry. You know where your triggers are. You know where the things that are easy to grab to put in your mouth are. Write yourself a note and say, don't do that. This is what we're working on this week. Be kind, be gracious to yourself. Don't Don't be mean. Don't be mean to my friend. Don't be mean to you. But give yourself enough reminders that it stays front of mind. It doesn't fall to the back, like is a tendency with me so many times. It's that out of sight, out of mind thing, right? If you find that you need a little extra help in the mindset area, I'm going to give you the name of two tools that have really been helpful for me. They're both by a doctor. Her name is Caroline Leaf, Leaf, like the leaves that are growing back on the trees and causing all of us to have postnasal drip right now. Caroline Leaf, she's a Christian neuroscientist, and she has been super helpful in helping me understand how the brain works. It is fascinating, you guys. And her correlation, her first book with biblical principles and how the brain actually was created by God to work along with these biblical principles will blow your mind. So, two things. She has a book. Well, she has many books, but her first book is called Switch on Your Brain, and it is fantastic. I highly recommend. I have it in both physical form and audiobook, and I've listened to it several times. So it's that good. And then she also has a podcast called Cleaning Up the Mind Mess. Also highly recommend. So if you need a little extra help in that area, the mental area, just shifting your brain into a good mental space, Dr. Caroline Leaf. Now, for all you overachievers and overanalyzers out there, anyone but me need to be in the support club for Overthinkers Anonymous. Yeah, that's me. I'm the president. Don't overthink it and don't overdo it. Baby steps. Eat this elephant one bite at a time. So, I want to give you some tools that you're going to be able to use. And I'm sure that if you search the Google, you can find many, many, many other tools. These are just some that I've actually personally used and have found helpful over the years in working on these pillars in my own life. And so the first thing I want to tell you about is habit trackers. I'm sure you've all heard of them. I'm a huge fan of Erin Condren planners. Erin Condren planners. If you are looking for a new planner, I'll just leave the link down in the show notes for you. I highly recommend. And she has this little habit tracker that actually it's magnetic and it clips on top of each of your planner pages, and you just color in the day when you hit your habit, and there's a place to line out all the different habits that you're working on, and you just color it in. And I'm so visual, you guys. So if there's a box I can check or a circle I can color in, it is winning for me. And so this has been super helpful because then you just open it up and move it to the next page when you are on the next page in your planner. Then there are tons of apps that you can get for habit tracking. If you are working on your water intake, there are some great water intake apps. Some of them are really fun, like you're watering your plant and you don't want it to die. So it's keeping track of how many ounces you're drinking a day. And then if you're a journaler, one that I've found very, very helpful for tracking habits is called the Push Journal by Chalene Johnson. And they're actually very interesting journals because they work off of a quarter. And so you'll need one per quarter, but they're small enough that I don't feel like I'm lugging around a giant book. It fits in my bag really easily. It doesn't weigh it down. It just has some really good areas. Planners and journals, they're so individual, and you have to find one that works with the way that God created your brain, or you're just not going to use it. I have a ton that are sitting with 2, 3, 5 pages done. They're literally stacked in my bookshelf. I don't know why I still have them. It's a problem. Anyway, find one that works for you. Now, if you are working on food in your fitness category, if you have a fitness category, I highly recommend that you find a food tracker app that you can put on your phone, and you put all the things inside it that you put in your mouth every single day, solid and liquid. You are going to be shocked. You wonder why you can't lose weight and you don't see the scale moving, or your pants are fitting tight. And then you realize that the healthy smoothie that you had last night really had 900 calories in it because of all the stuff you were putting in it. So it's not even so much that you're just putting crap in your body, it's that you need the reality of how much all this stuff is taking up in your calorie count every single day, even the good stuff, y'all. So track your food. It's really good for you. Okay, so those are just some general apps, tools that I found helpful. So I'm going to dive into each pillar for a second. In the faith category, of course, the Bible app, highly recommend. It's free. There are no secret in-app purchases. Thank you, Life Church. And inside the Bible app right now, I am really enjoying the Bible Project. It is a Reading Through the Year Bible Plan by Tara Lee Cobble. Highly recommend. You can do it with yourself or you can do it with some friends. And she also, fun fact, has a podcast that at the end of every day, when you've done your Bible reading, you can hop over to the podcast, super short. It's like 5 minutes. Some of them are 7 minutes. I listen to it on time and a half speed. Sorry, Tara. And she does a recap of what you just read. And it's so helpful. Now, she is just pulling out what she has seen inside the passage, but she's really encouraging you to think deeply about what God's showing you in each passage. So it's been really good for me. And then I also have a new thing that I'm trying this year. It's called the James Method. I bought this book for myself and I bought one for each of my girls, and it is verse mapping. And I am really enjoying it, you guys, again, because I'm such a visual person. And so you pick a verse from your Bible plan or from your Bible reading for the day, and you just explore it deeper. And I'm not going to go into, maybe I'll do a totally, completely separate podcast or YouTube video on the James Method because I'm so high on it and I think it deserves its own little thing. But go check it out. I will put the link for the James Method in the show notes too. No, that is not an affiliate link. I just really love them. I think it's going to help you grow deeper in your faith. In the finances category, y'all, this is a tricky one. We're going to have a complete episode on finances because let's just face it, I think in all of these areas, finances might be my weakest one. Don't judge. Don't judge. Everybody has a weakest one. This is just mine. But I found some of these apps pretty helpful. So for our finances, I use an app called Hurdler. It's just a way to track all of your income and outgo of funding. You hook it up to your bank account. It kind of does the rest. Super helpful during tax season. Hello, tax season, right in your face. And then another one for helping with budgets and saving that I found helpful is Rocket Money. Rocket Money. And then for saving, if you have a hard time saving, y'all, it was a problem for me for a long time. And I really didn't know where our money was going. It was just gone. And so I installed an app called Digit. And Digit, you pay a small monthly fee and they analyze your spending habits and they will take money out of your checking account and put it into your savings account like a ninja, like a freaking ninja. It's like $2 here, $10 here. Sometimes if they see it, it'll be $100 here. And don't worry, your account's never going to get overdrawn because if it gets close, they put money back. So it's managing your savings for you. Some of you guys, you're going, why on earth would you give an app access to do that? I'm just telling you, we were able to save a ton of money using this little gem. Okay. Disclaimer, all of those are paid apps, right? Those are not free. And then for your business, let's move on. This is my third pillar, my business. I am an organizational freak. I love everything organization. And as I'm growing my website and design business, I really needed to up level the business organization project management side of things. And so I found two things that are helpful. Number one is an app called Honeybook. It's desktop. It has some mobile capabilities, but it really is meant for your computer. I use that for all of my project management. It sends contracts if you're a business person. It'll send all of your questionnaires. It schedules. It does all the things for you. It's so great. There are tons of automations that you can put into it to just take the guesswork out. I will also put the link in the show notes for Honeybook. Highly recommend. I think I've said that like 5 times, but I really do. Okay. And last but not least, in the relationship category, depending on who you need to work on your relationship with, typically it is a significant other or a spouse, children, maybe parents, someone close to you. The things that are priorities to me, let me just go there. Date night. I would like to date my husband once a week. Yes, we are at a life stage that we are able to do that. I know that all of you are not. It's hard when you've got little kids and you've got to find babysitters and it gets real expensive and, it's just hard. But I have a tip for you. Okay. Even if you can't afford to go out because of babysitting and sick children and, fill in the blank, whatever it is that's stopping you from dating, I found a book. I actually bought one for my husband for Christmas, and we've done a couple of them. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They're called the Adventure Challenge. The books are not cheap, but If you're looking for things to do that are not going to break the bank, this will help you because there's not just things that you go out and spend a lot of money. It gives you options for dating at home, things to do at home. Here's a for instance. We did one a couple weeks ago where we were supposed to bake a pie. Let me just tell you, I'm divorcing sugar, and so we were not going to have a whole pie in the house. One piece is one thing, y'all, but having a whole pie just sitting in the refrigerator staring at me, no. We made the choice to do berries and cream instead of a pie. It was a much better dessert choice for my personal goals. And so it had me blindfold my husband, and I had all of the ingredients out on the counter in front of him. And I had to direct his hands to make the dessert, and I couldn't use words. And okay, there may or may not be a video that I have not released on social media yet, but it is hilarious. And we had a lot of fun doing it. There were lots of laughs, lots of laughs. And I feel like that's what we miss so many times, even when we just, yeah, let's go on a date night and we go out to dinner and we still don't laugh. There's still no conversation. But getting out of your box, getting out of your comfort zone and doing some of these things in the adventure challenge books, I think it's super healthy. And there are lots of adventure challenge books. There's some for families, there's some for obviously couples, there's some for kids. Go check it out. I'll leave the link in the show notes for that too. And then if you want to win, if you want to get back on the wagon and stay on the wagon, you're going to have to get some accountability. And so I highly encourage you to get an accountability partner because you're not the only one with junk. You're not the only one struggling in certain areas. And so if you have an accountability partner, you just meet once a week and you do a little check-in. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be in person, although I highly recommend coffee every once in a while with a friend. Text each other. How about a Zoom? Whatever works. But get an accountability partner and tell them your struggles. Don't keep it inside. It's not healthy. If you don't have somebody like that, join my free Facebook community because that is a safe space, you guys. It's a safe space. I think you'll find some good community and accountability in there as well. And sometimes, I'm just saying, sometimes it's easier to talk about your junk in a group of people that you don't really know with a computer screen as a barrier. You don't have to look anybody in the eye and bare your soul. You're just bearing it through your keys. And then you're getting a whole lot of love and encouragement back in the comments. And so my free Facebook community might be for you. And that link is also in the comments. At the beginning, when I was talking about the 5 pillars, and I told you to pick one in each area and do that until you really get a handle on it before you move on to the next one. Here's the thing. If there are a couple of them that are easy or are spread out, like for instance, in your fitness category, your goal may be to go on a 30-minute walk every day. Close that exercise ring, people. Go on a 30-minute walk every day. But in your relationship category, it's a date night once a week or once a month. If you need some place to start and once a week seems intimidating, start with once a month. Well, obviously, you're not going to pick the date night once a month and wait months before you add anything in. So things that are simple like that are spread out, that aren't going to be too overwhelming, you can couple those together. Okay. You can cheat. I give you permission. So I hope that you've gotten some good tips from today. I hope that you actually do this. It has been helpful for me. I'm going through it again, There's some things that I've got to refocus on. I feel like I get a handle on one and then the other one slips and I got to focus on that one and pull it back up when it's in a nosedive. But I really highly suggest you do this because if you follow the 5 pillars, one thing in each category to work on, you're adding those in once a week, once every couple of weeks. And in the next couple of months, you're going to feel really good about where you're at. You build the small habits, stack them on top of each other, get a handle on them, keep stacking, keep yourself accountable, have a friend help you be accountable, and you're going to be winning. If you got some goodness out of this, I would love to know about it. Tag me on social media. Will you just screenshot the podcast, throw it up in a story, tell me what you gleaned from this today. And also it helps get the word out to other people that this podcast even exists. So each week, well, I shouldn't say each week because let's be honest, I'm going to run out of reviews pretty quick here. But as often as I can, I want to highlight one of you lovely people who've taken time out of your busy day to give us a review. And this one is from Dosav. It says, great podcast. Expect nothing less from Jan. She says, I love your authenticity and passion for sharing what you know and learn with others. I can't wait to hear more. Stay tuned, sister, because this is episode 9, and next week is episode 10. Here's a little fun fact for you about episode 10. Did you know that only 1% of people who start podcasts ever make it past episode 10? So I've got some momentum, guys. I'm excited. I'm getting ready to be in the top 1% of people who've ever started a podcast. This is exciting to me. I don't know. It's exciting. Let me just remind you about the format of this particular podcast. When we started, I always intended this to not just be solo episodes. My goal is to bring you exciting stories of business and faith and allow you to learn from other people who have learned some hard things through their experiences and have come out on the other side and have something to say and something to teach and something to give through all of that. And so next week, we are starting with our interviews. And y'all, I'm just so excited. Next week, you get to hear from my friend Melanie, and she is a organization queen. If you are needing a little organization in your life, you're definitely going to want to tune in. She also, P.S., has a fan-freaking-tastic marriage podcast with her husband, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So tune in next week for Her Faith at Work. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.